While you're on the topic of condemned lands, could I just confirm how many acres of lands have been?
53 acres of Borderfield State Park was condemned by the federal government.
And 110 acres of county land?
I think it was 127.
And have the state and county been compensated already? Has the matter of compensation been decided? Where does that
The matter of, the federal government has identified compensation for both those properties, and I would not say that it's been an issue that has been completely finalized, and that's really all I'm in a position to say at this time.
And are you in a position to say who is responsible for negotiating that matter? Is it California State Parks as an entity, or who's engaged?
It's the landowners in each case, and their representatives.
Who would be San Diego County government officials in case of the county lands?
We don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
Those are all things that we've discussed with Homeland Security. We've been meeting with Homeland Security and Border Patrol and Army Corps over the last 7 years over this project, and those are all issues that we've raised. And it really now is Homeland Security's responsibility to ensure the safety of their structures. And we're hoping that they are addressing that.
And it sounds like, correct, and it sounds like there's a weekly meeting. You referred
There's
Mr.
a weekly
Friday.
construction meeting.
And so it sounds like the way it's set up, it's agency-to-agency conversation, and that's the point at which other issues and interests are voiced and represented. And I hear Ms. Fairbanks, is it, questioning whether there is some other fashion in which public concerns are able to be integrated into that conversation. Or do we rely on the agency-to-agency?
Yeah.
We're meant to trust, we're asked to trust that the agency-to-agency conversation that's underway is informed and reflective of the community interests which are represented partially in this room.
Well, think of it this way. Even before this became an issue, you heard us update you on those very talks. So again, what I mean is that we'll continue to use this as a quarterly venue for updating you on our discussions, and I expect that next December, between now and December, we'll probably hold that very discussion that Janet and you guys would like to talk about. Sure. So we can get a little better feel for, well, here's the range of possibilities. They're thinking this, we're thinking this, maybe we'll have something settled that's glorious and wonderful. But we just haven't even started that discussion yet. So what I'll commit to is that I'll try and set up a meeting between now and the end of November, so hopefully a lot sooner than that, so that we do have something to report back at the December meeting.
So does that mean that there won't be a fence? There won't be construction of a fence on Monument Mesa until the December meeting?
No. The only issue
is the gate.
Is how the gate will be used. We know there's going to be a pedestrian gate. We do not know how that's going to be managed.
And so there may well be a closed gate on Monument Mesa before this December meeting.
No.
That's not likely.
You don't think it will be?
Okay, that's helpful information. Thank you.
If the park stays to form and the rainy season comes and the park's closed during the winter time, by Memorial Day the park will open. The project will be done a couple weeks before Memorial Day, and everything will be worked out before that.
That's helpful timeline. Thank you.
But also some of this information, like some of the most basic information, will be things that we're constantly answering questions about. So I envision a lot of those main questions will be put on our website too, as far as how people access Borderfield.
I feel that making friends across cultural barriers is a part of security, and I feel like that's greatly threatened now by the plans. So I'd like that to be part of the planning process. And I guess I can skip down to a third point, which has to do a lot with environmental concerns. What sort of erosion control, environmental protections, and post-construction restoration are required by the contract? If there are safeguards in place, sediment ponds, vegetation restoration, etc., will there be ongoing funding for this? Will they be using native species to revegetate as opposed to spraying slopes with exotic seed mixes? Will they be working with local botanists, biologists, and ecologists? Will environmental and other laws that were overridden by the Department of Homeland Security in order to construct the fence in the park be reenacted once the construction is completed?
I can tell you that in the RFP for this contractor, which include the RFP for this contractor, in spite of the waivers that Secretary Chertoff took advantage of, included the full array of requirements for best management practices that you would expect to see in any contract here in San Diego County, with the exception of actually getting a permit from the Regional Water Quality Control Board. So those requirements are in there, and if you've been at all paying attention to the Nelson Sloan Quarry area, you've seen some improvements since Kiewit's come on board. Kiewit's a big organization, and they know what the standard protocol is, and when they came on the project and saw how the Army National Guard had left it, word on the street is they looked at each other and they said, we're not doing anything like this. And so far they've proven that they've really upped the quality of their erosion control during construction. So that's been comforting. I have not personally reviewed their final plans as it relates to slope mixes. I don't know, Chris, you have any, so we know what we've told them and asked of them as far as use of native plants. We know that they have under subcontract, I believe it's Helix Environmental as a subcontractor, and they certainly have the credentials to do it right. And they have a history of working within San Diego County, and so beyond that, I can't answer that question, right? Any of the rest of that question. I don't know what their long-term plans are for maintenance of the facilities. I know that they have not included sediment basins, permanent sediment basins as part of their project. Hence we have been actively involved with and pursuing enhancements to the project, which include sediment basins, particularly on the downstream side of Smuggler's Gulch, where we think there's certainly an opportunity to construct something. But beyond that, I think that the best I can do is try and find out for you.
Clay, on that, you said that the RFP had considerations like that. Does the actual statement of work for the actual contract have those provisions in it? Or have you actually seen that?
I do not know that, but I'd be very surprised if it didn't, given that the RFP was very detailed.
Is the statement of work available to the public?
I don't know.
Is that contract available to the public?
I haven't seen the statement of work myself, so I can find out tomorrow.
But that's where the rubber meets the road on a task like this.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you'd ask also about whether federal and state regulations will be reapplied to the site after the construction is over. Has anyone looked into that?
I don't know. No, we haven't. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because I don't think it's a waiver for all eternity for that swath of land. I think it was a waiver to construct the